Welcome to the Answers for Elders radio show. Meet the trusted experts who will give you straight answers and will help guide you on the path of later life care. Now, here's your host, founder, caregiver, and CEO, Suzanne Newman.
And welcome everyone to Answers for Elders Radio Network. And we are back again with Tracy Helling from CarePartners Living. And Tracy is one of the amazing ambassadors to CarePartners. And we have been thrilled to have them be our partner for like the last 8 years. We have been on radio here in the Pacific Northwest and now throughout the USA. And we're proud that they have communities now in Arizona. So those of you that are listening in Arizona, we are excited to introduce you to an amazing organization that helps those with not only assisted living, but most importantly, what we're talking about today is memory care. And I think one of the things, Tracy, we talked about in the last segment was the socialization piece. And I'd like to start off that way. Why is socialization important for those with Alzheimer's and dementia?
Well, I jokingly say, sorry, folks, we're not cats, we're dogs, we're pack animals. And so socialization is a huge part of our mental health. We eat better when we're with people. I didn't realize until I did some in-home care earlier in my career how social an activity eating is. My clients would have food in their fridge all week and wouldn't eat any of it. I would come back and then they would eat like just a horse, just eat with me. So that's a piece of it. And I think just intellectually, conversation, noticing things around us, interacting with our environment is very important. And when we're alone, that is just not what's happening. So I always think it's so much better when we're with others.
Right. And I always say, if you don't use it, you're going to lose it. Especially if you have the predisposition to have Alzheimer's and dementia. And one of the things that we certainly look at is if you're sitting at home taking in a TV set, that's not exercising your brain. You need to help that individual, that loved one, to use their brain by counting, by doing exercises, to getting out, to asking them questions and allowing them to process information to respond. And I think that's something that a lot of families don't know that that's so important, do they, Tracy?
No, they don't. And I am absolutely just awed by families who make the choice for a period of time to have their loved one live with them. It's a difficult disease. It's very stressful. And I love to see families do it. What I think we don't think about is, don't we like to be with people our own age? Of course. And so does mom or dad. So they're with their children and their grandchildren, and that is definitely a valuable thing, but it's good for them also to be with peers. In addition, quite often the adult son and daughter and the grandchildren are going off to school and going off to work during the day. And so their loved one is home alone. And even though they may be at a point where they can function physically that way, how lonely that gets for them. And they get in their head a lot too.
I think about when you're talking about this, it's like how many of us try to do the best and we think the best thing is to keep them at home. And yes, to a certain degree, there are options. And so I want to talk a little bit about home care. There are care organizations, home care organizations that can come in and help with what's called the activities of daily living. And we can talk a little bit about that. What do home care agencies do for those with dementia and Alzheimer's?
So I have an inside scoop on this simply because I did in-home care and companionship quite a long time ago. But I gave my time to this person one-on-one. We had conversations. We did tasks alongside of each other. Went for drives. We went out to eat. I took her grocery shopping. I bathed these folks. I cooked in their own home for them. So it was really lovely. But I will tell you that many of them said, I don't see another person all week until I see you. And I just hated that. And I think that there comes a point where us holding on to living at home, it's owning us rather than us owning that. We have such a dread of leaving our homes. So there is an absolute value for in-home care. I think there comes a point, however, where safety, mental health, and physical acuity are then no longer served by
Well,
that
and not only that, the cost, because the more
cost.
that you have to pay for home care, this is a misnomer. People will think home care is less expensive than memory care. And I'm going to go back to the fact that I know of families that have been paying $20,000 a month to
Yes,
have an
20
in-home
to
care
23.
for home care. And that is certainly not the case. And there's for other situations. So one of the misnomers that people will have is memory care is really expensive. Yes, it's expensive because they're getting round the clock care. But tell me a little bit about what's the difference when they go into a memory care community.
So in-home care has absolutely a place, and I did it, so I have a value for it. But the beautiful thing about moving your loved one, either from a home environment or from, say, an independent living or assisted living, is the folks in a specialized memory care, everybody has dementia.
Yeah.
No one's going to say, "You've said that 3 times, Marge." No one's going to say, "I can't remember which table I sit at." No one's going to say, "You know where the bathroom is. You've been there 6 times today."
Right.
No one is going to say that. And one of the things we see when people come from other environments is people have been noticing that there's something not tracking. They
Right.
have noticed. So they shut down socially. They stop going
Sure.
to activities. They stop pursuing relationships. When they come into a specialized memory care, everybody's in the same boat. There is, interestingly, a bump up in both the
It's
physical, the
interesting, isn't it?
appetite, the socialization.
They're using
Yes,
their brain.
and they're in their tribe. Nobody's
Yeah.
going to make them feel other in
Yeah.
this environment. And
Yeah.
the staff there, again, like I said, some of these things are very stressful for families. For us, it's a Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
So we all understand how this works. We
Sure.
don't get tired of reminding or cueing or
Right.
any of that. So I think that the specialized memory care is a
Mhm.
beautiful place where we see people begin to actually function at their optimum level because
Yes.
they're with other people in an environment and with a routine that is absolutely pleasant
Mhm.
for them.
So before closing, I know Kelly Smith, who our listeners have heard of before, Care Partners, but she just talked about a sense of purpose for those
Mhm.
with Alzheimer's. Would you explain that a little bit?
Yes. I think it's important for everybody to have purpose and meaning, to be useful. One of the things that we have done at our memory care is I brought my infant granddaughter's clothing there, and it's all rumpled up. And so we bring it out in the basket, and our ladies begin to sort it, and they're folding it. We do the
Uh,
same thing with sheets and blankets and all of that. I've had ladies be very helpful, helping me clean out a craft closet by organizing and categorizing things.
yes.
To help is important for
Yeah, to
everybody,
feel
to
a
feel
sense that
useful.
I'm contributing and useful.
Absolutely.
Yes, and absolutely. You guys do this so well. And in our next segment, Tracy, we're going to talk a little bit about the cottages and information about how to have these conversations with your loved ones, what to look for again, and we'll be right back right after this. We at Answers for Elders thank you for listening. Did you know that you can discover hundreds of podcasts in our library on senior care? So visit our website and discover our decision guides that will help you also navigate decision making. Find us at answersforelders.com.